I am so excited to speak to our guest today. She's the founder and CEO of Rejuvenation, and she also is an aesthetic nurse practitioner. Please help me to introduce Traci.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Nice, nice. I'm so glad to have you. I have so many questions for you, so let's jump right in.
Hi, my name is McLean, and I'm the founder and CEO of McLean Aesthetics.
Welcome to the dark side.
Let's go. So Traci, let's start it off by telling the audience kind of your struggle or how you got into the aesthetic industry.
So my background started in the hospital. I was working newborn ICU. It was my dream job, but it really became difficult to manage with family life. And I always thought, if I could do something part-time, I would love to just do aesthetics for fun. I think that sounds great. And that was a very naive thing to think because I didn't realize how involved this industry is. So my first step into the industry, I was still working newborn ICU, and I got my part-time job working for a plastic surgeon thinking I'll just do a little Botox on the side, and quickly found my passion, but also found that if you want to be good at something, especially aesthetics, you really have to commit yourself because there's not a lot of obvious education out there for you. It's getting a lot better, I'd say, but I'd say my biggest challenge was finding education and figuring out what I didn't know. The lack of regulation kind of makes it difficult to gain skills and knowledge that are necessary to be safe and effective. But I had a lot of great mentors and educators, so helped me with my launch into the industry for sure.
Awesome, awesome. Now, how did you find those mentors and people, educators, as you say, to really help you?
At first, when I was brand new, I didn't even know to look for them, right? Like you don't even know you need them. But I honestly have my reps and the plastic surgeon I was working for to thank because they were able to connect me with some industry leaders or peers in my area that I could lean on for support. And that kind of opened my eyes to the fact that I had so much to learn and so many people to learn from that I started seeking it out through social media.
Okay, nice, nice. Now, jumping in the industry, being brand new, straight out the hospital, how long did it take you to really get comfortable in your skill set?
That's a great question. I get that a lot from trainees too. It takes a long time, and I still remember thinking like, I can't wait till I can look at someone's forehead and just spit out numbers so quickly for how many units they need. But it takes a long time to get confident when you have such a wide array of services. I think most injectors are doing tox and filler and biostimulators, and each of those have such a large amount of knowledge to gain. So I would say maybe after my first year or so that I felt at least confident with what I was offering.
What would you suggest for new injectors if they're looking? I get so many calls and they like, I give up hope. I've been trying for so long, like it's becoming frustrating. What can you suggest for them to getting kind of into the industry?
One, don't give up. It's especially in Utah, we have so many people getting spit out of training programs, and we have a med spa on every corner, and it can be really daunting. It seems like there's no obvious way into the industry because there's not a legit certification program. There's not, apprenticeships. So my recommendation is to network like crazy, especially here in Utah. Like it's all in who you know. Everybody wants an experienced injector, and if you're not that, then you better get to know some people so that they find value in you without that experience.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. What are some ways to network? I don't think people know this stuff because I totally agree with you.
I
right?
agree.
It's key. But what are some
Yes.
ways?
You're right about that because you don't have to do that when you're a NICU nurse. Like networking, the whole business side of it, I think I really was naive to how much business goes into this career path. As far as networking goes, there's some really, become a patient somewhere. And I have had patients who then gone to train with me and are now my colleagues. That's a really great way to at least get to know some people. Getting on Instagram and reaching out to people that way, finding people that will allow you to shadow. I always believe in providing value in relationships. So, offering to help out with an event, or, I have people that I've trained that are like, hey, if you ever need somebody at your next event to help teach, or if you need somebody at your next training course to help assist you so that I can learn while I assist you. There's just so many little ways you can get into somebody that you admire, somebody you could learn from, while adding value to them. And I think that's a really great way to build a relationship, especially in medicine.
Yeah, and I love what you just said. Adding value. When you add value to someone, they want to work with you. They want to give you that opportunity to advance. So that is key,
Yes.
very key.
That is key. And I think networking a lot of times when you're new to it feels a lot like you need to sell yourself. And nobody wants to someone on their back, piggyback, like it should be give and take. So I think you're right. Like giving value is a great way to build relationships.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Now, opening your own business, congratulations. That's huge. I always love meeting with business owners. So I know how hard it is to really build a business. Tell us a little bit about how hard it was, or the struggles, or anything that you faced opening your own business.
So that's a great question. I don't know. Maybe I'm still trying to figure that out. We opened in August. So as far as my experience, my personal experience and how to grow and how to gain a clientele, that's easy to do for yourself when you figured it out as a provider. But then doing that for other people who have different personalities and different goals for themselves has been really a fun adventure for me to figure out, like, okay, I know how to grow myself, but how do I grow them? And how do I best support them? That's definitely been a big challenge for me. But I think it's been equally fun. It's really challenged me in ways that are helping me to grow personally and as a business owner. So grateful for that, for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. What is one tip you could say, make sure you do this when opening a business?
Gosh, I would say invest in your people. I think that is a very loaded statement, of course. Like, what does that mean financially, emotionally? But the people are the business. Like I just said, like I could grow myself. I could run a business with just myself. But when I have other providers who need their needs met, I want to make sure that I do that for them, because turnover is expensive. It's not only expensive in your bottom line, but it's expensive in your in the fact that your culture is going to take a hit. And so I think good systems and processes in place, you can support your team and show up for them, is really important.
Yeah, no, I can definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that. What are patients asking for most in the Utah area?
Oh my gosh, what is it? I don't know. I mean, Botox to sport, those are huge. I think that's becoming a lot less of a stigma. It's almost like everybody has Botox and hair extensions and lash extensions, It's like it kind of falls into that self-maintenance routine, where before it was like, don't tell anyone I'm here getting this done. So I think that's probably the most popular, but we're definitely seeing a bit more coming in on the filler side of things as that gets normalized. A lot of people wanting to invest in themselves in a natural way. We see a lot of increase in our regenerative medicine side. So I don't know, it's fun and exciting. It's becoming less of this taboo subject.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Now I see on social media, you have a good amount of following. People follow you, they look at what you're doing. How did you build that following, and how has that affected really raising the amount of clients that you have coming in?
So, I mean, I first kind of goes back to the value add thing. I think that's the best way to be on social media too, is giving value back to people who are following. Whether that's because you're an entertainer, really fun and exciting to watch, it's like a sitcom, or if that's because you're providing education, you're providing knowledge to people. I've always tried to be more of a providing education and empowerment, whether that's people who ever come in or not, and it grew more rapidly initially, I think, for that reason. People wanted more information and they knew that I would be providing it. I forget what your second question was.
Yeah. So with social media, how has that affected the amount of clients that come inside of your business?
Yes, that's right. So definitely huge. That's my number one source of new clients. Still is. It has been from the start. And second to that is word of mouth, which a lot of times come from people sharing my page. It's great for conversion because people can build trust with you. They already know who I am when they come in for consultation. They're not shy from coming in because they know what to expect. They know my personality. They know my style. They can scroll through and look at a portfolio before and after and trust that I can deliver on natural results. So that's really the key. I don't think it's for everyone. There's still some people that aren't on Instagram and Google, but if it's a very great tool to have in your tool belt as an injector, for sure, to help gain some clientele.
Nice, nice. And is it only Instagram, or are you doing Instagram, TikTok, Facebook?
Oh, okay. So my Instagram bleeds over to my Facebook. I'm not active on Facebook. And then I do have a TikTok. I ended up having to delete a bunch of my content when I left my last job. So I'm on a TikTok. We've had a breakup, so now I have to get back on and upload more content. It's daunting building a business back on TikTok. Which one's for? I definitely need to be better about getting back on there because that's fun. That's a fun app, and I think it helps, the younger generation too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I can definitely agree with that. What are some white glove services that you do to keep clients coming back?
Gosh, well, I always think you should exceed expectations, whatever that means. So if they're coming in for a consultation, and I think that they should walk away feeling like, wow, I got so much value out of that appointment. All I was expecting, I think what people expect from a consultation would be, okay, I'm going to learn about the services. It's going to tell me about my face, and then I'm going to have some decisions to make. But I think if you can provide more than that, build a relationship with somebody, give them some really like usable knowledge, whether they need you for it or not, stuff they can be doing at home. I think that exceeds expectations. Same thing with treatments, like doing some care on people with treatments, making sure they get their services rebooked in the room and they have a personal connection with my assistants. I know exactly what to do. I think those things are exceeding expectations. I think in any way, anything we do here, our goal is to exceed expectations.
Yeah, and I would also like to add on with that and agree to your point. Like when you're well educated about what you're doing, you're able to talk to clients. I hear clients all the time, I want an injector that's able to upsell. I want an injector that's able to upsell. Well, it's not really upselling. It's really telling the knowledge and having the clients make an informed decision on what they think they would want to add.
Nailed it. Yes, I was talking to somebody about that the other day, about like, how do you get your injectors to get people to do multiple syringes? I'm like, you don't get to tell people to do multiple syringes just to do multiple. You do it because they want a result. And I think when you build confident, again, investing in your people, when you build confident injectors, they're able to deliver on more comprehensive treatment plans. It's not we're trying to get more lucrative treatment plans because we're ethical medical practitioners, right? And I think a lot of injectors who are managed by people who say, you're going to win a prize at the end of the month if you upsell a syringe of filler on everybody who comes in your lips. It rubs the injectors the wrong way because they feel like they're being asked to be unethical. So, but I think if you invest in them being more confident injectors, they're more confident at more advanced procedures, which typically includes multiple syringes, you end up getting that payoff in a much more ethical and positive way,
Yeah, no, I can definitely agree. Definitely agree. Do you by chance have any devices in your office?
We do. We have the Power platform for mode. We have the hydrofacial. That's it right now.
Yeah. The reason I ask that is because one of the main questions I get for many injectors is, should I invest in a device and kind of which device to pick? How do I know what device to pick? Can you give me advice on that?
So my advice would be that it's going to depend on the practice and what they need, what your patients are expecting or needing. I have friends who are single injector practices. They have a very small team. All they offer is injectables, and they refer out for everything else. And that's how they want to keep it. If you're looking to be able to provide everything in one space, you're looking at multiple machines, right? We need to be able to treat pigment. We need to be able to treat hair. We need to be able to treat laxity. So I think the first thing to figure out is, what are you passionate about? What's kind of your end goal for your practice? And what are your patients expecting? Right now, one of our pain points is pigment. We don't have a laser device for that yet. We're on the lookout for that, and we're looking forward to bringing that on our new space. But it's definitely something we talk about in our consultations all the time, about what we're going to do about pigment, right? And so that's, for me personally, something I believe in investing in. I know my patients need it. I know it's something I want to offer to them. It's a service that I feel comfortable bringing on here, not something I want to refer out to. So I think it comes down to what's your passion, what's your needs, and what are your patients looking forward to getting done.
Nice, nice. If you had to put a number on it, how much money should you be spending on continuous education a year?
Oh, that's a good one. I spend a lot on continuing education, and I don't know. I would say I think I probably spent 40 to 50,000 last year in continuing education. And I don't necessarily think that there's a financial target. There's so many options out there to have more affordable education now in injectables and in the aesthetic industry altogether. I don't think you necessarily need to be doing that. But you know, a single cadaver lab, you're looking at $5,000 plus travel plus opportunity costs. So it adds up really quickly if you're doing something. My goal and what I tell my trainees to do is have something, some educational something that feeds into you constantly. So like a Patreon, subscribing to a Patreon account, or subscribing to articles, or following Instagram accounts that are going to give you knowledge that way. So you don't get lost in the weeds and forget to do continuing education. It's not like the hospital where they're going to be having deadlines for you to meet certain criteria. And then the other is to plan out quarterly something big education. Okay, you're wanting to do better with advanced injectables, book injectables training for the first quarter, and you want to go to a conference and network and learn more about complications, do a conference and sign up for the complications workshop the next quarter. So I try to space out that way for me, but of course there's so many exciting opportunities out there and so much to learn. It's hard to really put a cap on it, but it's definitely a pay-to-play kind of industry. And I think it's just important that you continue to do consistent education and not focus so much on what your spend should be. You know, there's just great ways to get good comprehensive education without dropping $10,000.
For sure. Now, another question I get asked is, what is it like? What do you suggest more, in person or online, or is there really you should just be doing both?
I would say doing both. Online is great if you're comfortable with a service and you're looking to see, you know, a couple tweaks to it. If you're new to a service, or you're new to a technique, or you don't have enough patients walking the door to practice on the regular, you need to have someone watching your hand on a patient. My favorite is to host trainers at my space and to have them critique me and show me their skills. And I think that's, I always get a lot more out of it when I get to have some constructive criticism on myself. But it also goes to show you, like, we're in such a virtual world these days. We can learn so much and add so much to our practice without leaving the comfort of our pajamas. So, you know, there's something to be said that if you're comfortable with applying the knowledge you're getting, you don't need that hands-on training, do it. It's a lot more cost effective for sure.
Nice. Is a cadaver course necessary?
Yes. I will always stand behind that. You know, I also authored that Color Me Injected coloring book. It's the facial anatomy coloring book for injectors. So I've always been a strong believer in facial anatomy. With my background in facial plastics, I realized how lucky I was to have that knowledge that a lot of people going into this industry just don't have the benefit of getting, you know, seeing the face peel back. And the application of 2D knowledge to 3D knowledge is very different. And when we're talking about safety and effective treatments and all of that, I think it's just absolutely necessary. Definitely get a hands-on cadaver course.
Yeah, for sure. Who are some trainers or training courses that you could recommend to the audience that they can go and sign up for and learn more?
So, well, the cadaver lab that I have loved, Dr. Chris Sirk is great. I loved that. I thought it was really applicable to injectables. I love Julie Kaplan. She does her head and breakfast. That's a great one as well. Patreon, like I talked about earlier, is a great app to get on. So far, my favorites right now are following Erica Berry, Rana Kennelly, and Julie. As far as training courses go, that's tricky. There's so many. I don't know. I think that it also depends on what your flavor is. If you're trying to learn different techniques or what they specialize in, I think a great way to figure that out is going to conferences and listening to talks and figuring out what really resonates with you. There's just so much out there. And the conferences are a great tool as well, just to spread the knowledge and awareness of what's out there, what trainings to go to, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Even though a lot of different countries are way ahead of us when it comes to aesthetics, how important do you think it is to really learn from different countries?
Well, I think it's a really great idea. I think it goes back to the whole we don't know what we don't know. it's a great way to open our minds to things that are to come in the future and things that people are doing better than we are or more advanced. Because even if we don't have the right product or the same products or, you know, we have a lot of red tape here. If we haven't gone through the red tape yet, there's still techniques and ideas and thoughts and research that we can apply to our practice to use evidence-based practice here from other countries for sure.
Nice, nice. Who are some key opinion leaders in this industry that you can suggest for the audience to follow to learn more?
Ooh, that's a great question. So the few that I mentioned from Patreon, I also love their Instagram page. Melissa Berg, the beauty nurse, she's on Instagram. I love following her. She's definitely an OG. A couple local people, Elise Wilcox and Ina Prokopenko, they're both like OGs in Utah, and they have a lot of great knowledge to share. Who else? Anusha is great, and yeah, I think that's a great, at least starting point. There's so many. I'm missing a bunch.
I can definitely understand. I'm going to drop those all below so the audience can definitely go ahead and check those people out. Now, with all that's going on, running a business, learning all the time, really investing, how do you kind of do work-life balance? What do you do to kind of relax?
That's a great question. I don't know if I know how to do that anymore. I'm kind of one of those thriving chaos girls, but I think work-life balance is definitely more like work-life integration when you're a business owner. As much as you want to turn off, sometimes you don't get to do that. And, you know, I've had my training business since 2018. So the business ownership, business like integration into your life has been constant for many years, but stepping into owning a medical practice definitely brings more of a challenge to that. It's definitely more of a around the clock kind of thing, but I try to set some firm boundaries. For instance, when I'm off work and I step in the door, my phone's put down and I clock into mom mode, spending some good quality time with them, being present with the moments I get with them. I believe in setting away time to spend just with my husband, whether that's like getting a babysitter for the night every week to get a little date night in. You know, a lot of times we end up talking about work, but like I said, work-life integration, you know, just trying to set some firm boundaries. And another example is like, okay, I'm going to look through the rest of the year and find out what days I'm available for trainings. Because what normally happens is someone says, are you free on Monday? Yep, sure. And then I'm like, did I scheduled, 16 trainings that month? That's more than I should have done. So planning and integration, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. How can people reach out or how can people sign up if they're interested in your trainings?
The easiest way is to start with my Instagram, Traci _NP. There's a whole link tree. My training website is injectorsguide.com. Everything's available through my Instagram page. You can find it there.
All right, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Traci, for sitting down with me, speaking more about the aesthetic industry. I'm sure everybody will find so much value from this and takes gems away. Tell everybody where they can find you and what you have next.
Tell everybody what? Sorry.
Tell everybody where they can find you and what you got planned next.
Oh, yeah. Well, right now, mostly find me on Instagram and in this tiny little temporary space while we build out the future of Rise. Big things coming for Rise. We should be done with our build out in 16 weeks and moving in. Some really exciting stuff on the training platform and training for Girl Derma now. So connect with me on Instagram. Would love to make more relationships.
Awesome, awesome. And until next time, bye.
See ya.